Garrison Loope. I'm a Ph.D. student in geosciences working on climate science. And so in climate science, we tend to think about climate as a combination of natural variability and the warming impact that humans are having. So much of the research being done on climate science today is the effect that humans are having. And so I'm interested in natural variability. My work is based around the hypothesis that there is more natural variability in climate at a decade to century scale than we see in those climate models. And so for instance, the southwestern United States is supposed to get drier and drier throughout the 21st century if you look at climate models. And so if you believe our hypothesis, then you would still get the same amount of drying by the end of the century, but the road there will be much bumpier. You get more abrupt changes and more hiatuses as well. So this is a tricky hypothesis to test because climate records typically only go back about 100 years. And so we need much longer records of climate in order to really figure out whether this hypothesis is true. One of the big components of my research is going to Nepal and collecting lake sediments. And so I can use these lake sediments in order to reconstruct climate over the last 1,000 years. And so doing this, we can test our hypothesis, but the tricky part is, I've only got a few lake samples from Nepal. And so I found that you can't solve these big picture questions with just a few types of data. So what I've done over the last 2 years has been to collect data from all different types. So I use climate model data, climate observations from across the globe, as well as lake sediments, cave records, marine cores, ice cores, you name it, I've looked at it. And so when I look at all these together, I find a lot of support for the original hypothesis. So in the past, there's been a lot more really long droughts lasting multiple decades than we would expect based on climate models. And so one thing I really appreciated about the Carson Scholarly Program is that they've helped us frame our research better. And so I spend almost all my time, day to day, working on the really nitty-gritty details of science. Things like how do you model tree ring growth on a computer, or how do you core a lake in Nepal. So these things take up all my time, but they're not really the core of my research. And so this Carson Scholars Program has helped me distill my message. The message is that natural variability is taking us on a bumpier road than we expected to a warmer future.